Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am so happy today to bring my friend, very good friend that I met online, one of those strangers I would have mentioned on the channel. Her name is Wanda Pearson, and she has also been like a coach to me over the past 2 years. And
Ah,
welcome, Wanda. Let's bring you in.
thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. Our paths have crossed, Elizabeth, and we just really clicked from the beginning, from our virtual international team, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when I first met you, and I just want to do an introduction to you. You wasn't doing this, and you wasn't, we did Facebook Live. You've never done it before. So both of us have grown to
Yeah.
where we are. We're not afraid of the social media, of recording live, right? So thank you
No.
so much for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm happy that you are here, and we're here to talk about your books and everything that you have going on, especially when it comes to personal development. Today, because of this particular channel, I want to really focus on dialing into how you came from all the things that you've been through, and and what was your process in going through them to become the woman that you are today.
Oh, wow. I tell you, it's a blessing that I turned out the way I did, right? Especially with my books. I always said I would never do this. I would never do that. I would never write a book because who would want to read my book, right? But I actually started off when I was 10 years old. We'll talk about as far as some of the book, but as far as abuse that I went through. But 10 years old, I remember the social worker coming to our house, and I said, I want to be a social worker. I had no idea that's what God intended me to be. So I did become a social worker, and I'm actually still mentoring now to middle school girls. But my biggest thing was going through situations that I had, and my brother always told me this. This is a good saying that both of my brothers are ministers, but this one just really stuck to me. You got to go through to understand why you're going through it, to get through it in order to survive. And I survived that. I've survived the abuse with my stepfather, but thank God I had my father and stepmother who gave me that strength to be the person who I am today. So, but my father, him being a regional sales manager, and I had no idea, because I'm gonna tell you something. One thing I said, I would never do sales. I was like, I would never do network. Everything I said I'm gonna never do, I'm doing. So I just succumbed that, and by being into social work, when I finished college, I was the first one to finish college in my family. Um, I started with Mercedes Benz, and I still wanted to get into my social worker, so I got into Job Corps, where I counseled young women to help them get their self-esteem, confidence back, right? Because a lot of people, because I saw my mother's self-esteem, confidence was taken away with what we went through as far as the abuse. And I didn't want that for myself. And I said, I would never have a man ever, take away my self-esteem and confidence. And that's what made me give that passion that I had to help women today, not just women, but men, to get through the situations that they have, because we can all get through it. But, just really just continuing to pray. And I didn't know nothing about God, but God knew about me because God had plans for me. And my favorite verse is Jeremiah 29:11. God has plans for me, plans to prosper, plans to not to harm you, but to be successful, in whatever He planned for you to do. So that is why I am. Oh, and I'm sorry. And then I started IBM. So IBM, after 36 years, I got that corporate background, and when I decided, okay, I'm done. I'm done with corporate, and I was glad because I started when I was young. I started when I got married, and after I got out of corporate, I ended up doing our business, which was Legal Shield, full time. But then I created my own business, which is WD Pearson Associates, which we'll talk about that another time. How what I'm doing with that as well. So I'm branching that out, and everything that I'm doing, I'm like, oh God, you really have got me, got me going to do all these things that I said I would never do. So that's how I got to where I am today. A short version of it.
Yeah, that was a really short version. But a very good, there's a lot of things that you said in there, especially when it comes to what give you the desire to want to help people. Yes, I know of, obviously, you know, going through what you went through, going through what I went through. I know those feelings of, you know, you want to be more as a person, but what would you say that drive you to just want to, like, when you look at that social worker to say,
Mhm.
I want to be a social worker? What, because I mean, after all, at that time when I read the book,
Mhm.
um, uh, at that time, you said that you were going through, you were in that abusive situation with your stepfather and stuff like that. So what made you look to say, well, I want to help people at that time?
Well, I was seeing so many women going through things that their self-esteem was taken away from them, and their confidence. And the first thing was actually my mother. I saw my mother become an alcoholic. I saw her because she didn't feel like she was loved. So uh, people that don't feel like they're worth anything, or feel like their confidence is not up, that's what really gave me that passion to really get out there and help. And everything and I ask God every day today, what do you want me to do today? How do you want me to help people? So it was the passion in seeing people, not only people, but young women. And I knew I had two daughters. I have two daughters. I'm sorry, we have two daughters that I know I did not want them to go through what I went through. So the passion that I had to help other people, not just, like I said, not just women, but men. But a lot of things what really gave me that courage to do this was because a lot of things that's really stopping us is fear, right? Because with fear, we don't think we can do that, do what we want to do, which turns into failure, right? But then we have to turn that fear into faith. So when I actually, a lot of people come to me and say, Wanda, can you pray for me? I mean, I would say, okay, I pray for you, but I didn't know if it had any. But I mean, I guess God is listening to me because He helps. But it's just the fear that a lot of us happen to go through, and really, I have something up on my thing here. It said, "Fear is a liar," right? It's a liar because it's a devil. So a lot of times that people go through those situations and don't think that they can do this. And I remember my father always said, cannot comes in cans, but you have to make sure that you can be able to do what you planned on doing with your life." And that's what I ended up doing. And my stepmother was a very strong. At first, when I started moving with her, I thought she was mean, but what she was doing, she was actually making me stronger. So my strength came from her. So I had that, and I had my grandmother, who I lived with. She was strong, and we have a lot of women in our family. So I know a lot of times um, we don't know how we can do things, what we can do, but I like to make sure that you can do this. Does that make sense? What I'm just saying here. Yes,
It
it's
does. I think it made sense to me because I remember when I was going through my time, and obviously, I mean, we were basically like fresh in being friends, you know, and you will always message me, you know, you will say, I don't know what's going on, but you know, just don't forget your dream. Don't forget your dream. And I mean, when I first came online, you were one of the first people that that I met and going to networking groups and stuff. And
yeah.
for some reason, you took to me. I call you to everybody that ever mentioned you. I called you my internet mother,
Well, thank you.
because the love that, you know, the things that you've done for me, the love that you've given me. And I mean, we only met online. We've never met in person.
No.
You know, and it
No.
goes to show that people say, you know, internet is like a horrible place. I believe that it's a very beautiful place because
Oh
I've met
yeah.
some amazing people, especially in COVID, you know. we,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think,
COVID got us through a lot of things. I mean, even though we met before COVID,
yeah,
the virtual, but thank God for Zoom. Thank God for actually letting us meet, because I would have never met you, Leanne, Sharon. I brought Sharon into to our group, but a lot of the international friends that I say that I met through this. So, but you was the first ones, and I actually went on your YouTube channel, and I'm gonna tell you, Elizabeth, I actually got a client from that interview. that you did with me. He was looking on YouTube and he saw me, he saw my story, and he reached out to me. And what was funny was that, I'm from Chicago. Well, he was from Chicago. I didn't even know it, but not only that, but found out that his mother was actually related to my cousin's wife. I said, I said, look at God. I mean, I had no idea that, but you made an impact on me as well, and having that impact to be able to get like YouTube. I mean, I never really did YouTube. Now I got a YouTube channel, right? So it was great. I mean, I am so blessed that we became friends. Like God said, He always puts people in your life for a reason, right? And we don't know for a reason or a season, but that season that brought us together, even now, it's been what, 3 years now? The 3 years? 2 years?
Yeah. From 2020, I think.
Well, before that, 2019, because 2020 COVID happened, right?
No, I met you in 2020. It was in, yeah, it was in March or late April 2020.
Okay.
Currently, yeah. COVID had only just started.
Just started. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 2020. Yeah.
Well,
I think what happened is that we talked so much.
Yeah. I feel like I've been knowing you for a longer time, but yeah, it and that's when I actually just got back from Chicago in March 2020. I'll never forget that. And they shut everything down. Well, that's when I went to work and started doing Zoom more. And like you said, how did I get there? I started becoming the networking queen of of Zoom. So I was hopping around to different places. So, and that's the blessing, about having this platform to be able to get out there. But yeah, but no, it actually has been very good, and I'm so glad that we actually connected again, to do this. And here you did your book, and then I did my book, and a lot of people say they didn't know I did my second book. Now I'm on my third book. The things that I said I would never do this. So.
So what would you say then, Wanda, especially with us meeting online? Because I want this video to really get to the people that are insecure, like how I was when I first came online. Luckily I was able to meet into people like you, that, you and Sharon and, that really like embrace me and stuff, but everybody doesn't have that experience. What would you say for some person that now wants to put themselves out there, they don't have the full confidence to do it? And, how would you advise in going towards that, like starting that?
Well, we go through those struggles, right? We go through trials. We're afraid. And like I said, remember I said fear. Fear is something, and especially when God puts something in your mind and you keep pushing it away, let him talk to you. Let him guide you to get past. And I tell you that when I wrote my book, as far as being inspired, I cried because I buried things deep inside that I didn't even know happened. And I said, thank God I did, because I would have never known how I would turn out, right? I mean, I could have been stuck. So you don't want to get stuck. You want to get unstuck and get past those hurts and get out of that victim mentality, right? So life failures, as far as to hold you back, don't let it hold you back. Let it motivate you to get to the next step of where you want to go. And when I wrote this book, and it helped me a lot, because actually my daughters read it. And when they read my chapter, because even my family didn't know what I was going through, it just started coming out when I started writing. They suggested that I go to therapy. So I didn't think, what do I need to go to therapy for? We never think we need therapy, right? Well, I am actually on my 5th therapy session, and I'm very happy and I go through it and I can talk. But it's just things. But my biggest therapy that I had to go through a lot of times is forgiveness. I had to forgive those hurts that I had, with my stepfather, with the hurt that I didn't have and think that I did have. But the therapy is helping me to get motivated to write my full story of Audacity to Shine. So I would say get past that fear, let the fear bring on more of what you need to do. What is your passion? And I always talk about, what is your passion? What do you want to do? How do you want to, how you want to go about doing this? And you would be surprised how that writing, just jotting down or doing whatever, because everybody, and I always say, everybody has a story. Somebody told me, everybody has a story, Wanda. Well, who want to read my story? you know, but you never know who can actually get something from your story that you're telling, right? Everybody has a different story. Everybody, God made each one of us a different way, and having that willpower is really willpower to be able to step out of your comfort zone to get to where you need to get to help others. And like I said, my passion has always been to help others. And I didn't know God was bringing me back around, even though I was in corporate for 36 years. And I was always still a social worker in IBM. I was still helping people. And I didn't know. I was just, talking. And the thing about it is that I've never been a phony. I've always been me as far as real. And I think that's why people gravitate to me, because I just say what I feel, But letting your fear take over and become more of a success is really what you need to do. But faith is the biggest thing. And then, we always say faith is as small as a mustard seed. Man, I tell you, I went through a lot of questioning God about faith. How can you be faith when, my mother, the day after I moved to Georgia, she died, right? And then my husband wasn't working. So it was a lot of different situations that was happening in my life. And they kept coming to faith, right? And it's such a small word, but it's so big at the same time. But I remember my manager within IBM at that time, she told me, Wanda, this too shall pass. And that has, to this day, I tell people that this too shall pass. So whatever you're going through, you will get through it, because this too shall pass. Does that make sense, Elizabeth?
Oh, yes, it does. Listen, I think that I I resonate with so much that you just said, like a lot, because see, when you don't even have to write a book to even get those feelings out, but just write it down. Because last week when I did a video last week, can't remember the name, but I was talking about how when I realized I was so mad at my grandmother for dying.
Yes.
That I had to write her a letter, and I cried and I cried and I cried, and I did myself a little ritual.
Yeah.
I didn't go to therapy, but I think between that and then when I went on to write my book, I cried. The only one thing that was not obviously in there was when I lost my daughter, and I cried fresh on that too. But it's finding a way, a source. If it's therapy, if you're going to do something on your own, because you're probably too, you don't want to go to therapy, but, like you said, it's good to at least have somebody that you can talk to that from a non-judgmental way, I find that has helped me. And listening to you, you're now obviously, it has helped you, and then now you're taking a step further to go through therapy. And in the States there's all different ways you can find to be able to get therapy, and there are coaches, and you do coaching too. I've been a product of of that. I must say. And because of when you have that, at least that extra support, it really does make a difference in your life, and to get past that pain, that hurt, to forgive people is so important, because you're releasing them. I call it releasing, throwing away that bad seed, disregarding that bad seed, and to now plant new seed within you, so that you can, because when you become the better version of you, you can help others. And I believe that we are all on this earth to help somebody with something, and because of you too, like I understand so many other different things. Because of you, I have not forgot about my dreams, and I'm always asking myself, what is my passion? I have so much talent what do I actually want to do? You know,
Absolutely.
and I think more and more each day I'm coming into to what that's supposed to
Hmm.
be. And I think that's
Hmm.
why I focus so much on this channel.
And I'm glad
But
you're doing that, because I tell you, you got so much to give, right? And we all have so much to give, but no, that is so true, what you're saying there. So,
yeah, but the thing is, Wanda, too, it's people like you that see somebody like me had nothing whatsoever. You didn't ask me all my business. You didn't have to pry into what was going on, but you felt something and you always sent me a
mhm,
message. You always sent me some sort of support. Don't forget what your passion is. Don't give up. Don't ever stop. You would
mhm,
send me something and you would just hop on a call with me and just have a conversation with me. And you
mhm,
did that without me even asking. And because of you
yeah,
two, it always kept me, that even if I was um feeling like down or feeling like um I'm not sure if I want to do this anymore. I'm
mhm,
not sure if I want to fight
mhm,
to become the better version of me and keep up with that. But to have a complete stranger believe in me, I know I needed to do it.
mhm,
And
yeah,
really and truly, it's so much, but you got to be willing to do the work, because you had
mhm,
to do a lot of work. When I read your book,
yeah,
and obviously that audacity to shine, and I'll link all of Wanda's books in the description of this video so you guys can go check them out. I
yeah,
am really looking forward to the full version of your book, because
yeah,
that audacity to shine, that
yeah.
little snippet, I was like, like looking for what's happening next. And, even, I mean, yes, I've had a horrible past, I did, but to
Mhm,
experience what you experienced, like, I'm telling you that's witnessing physical abuse, being a part of physical abuse. I've never been a part of physical abuse,
mhm,
mental though, but not physical, and that's hard.
yeah,
um and to be able to come out of that, to then go on to doing what you are currently doing now. A lot of people get,
mhm,
no matter how old they get, they never release that pain. They always live in that, in that space, and then
yes,
because of that, they will never experience what they are really fully capable of.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's why I said, you got to forget the emotions that actually triggers those feelings of unforgiveness. I really thought I had forgiven all those years my stepfather. It wasn't just my stepfather, but other people in my life. We need to cleanse ourselves deep down to learn how to forgive. So
Yeah.
first, I talk about, and actually, I'm in my full story. I talk about a whole chapter about forgiveness. You know, um, and I remember Ryan O'Neal. Never never having to say you're sorry. Love means never having to say you're sorry, I think it was. And I put a snippet in my full story book, because I that comes back to me, how people say, oh, I love you, really, but you're hurting me, so um the biggest thing is really, and I'm glad you got out of it, because a lot of times I feel like quitting. I feel, because I'm retired. Why am I working so hard? Why am I doing this? But then I go back to my father, who was a successful regional sales manager. And when he retired, he stopped doing the things, and then he got dementia. So I remember coming back 3 years ago, 2018. I just retired from IBM in 2017, December. And I was glad, because I just had surgery, got out of surgery. I said, I'm going to go visit dad, when I get better. And I did. And that was actually March of 2018. And I looked at him in a nursing home because he had dementia. And it was just it hurt. I mean, even now it hurts that to see him. And I said, I can't get like that. So that's what makes me inspired to keep going forward. But he died before I even got home. I spent a week with him. And I think that, they always say a person, like probably with your grandmother, they need to see that person, the last person in their life, before they said, okay, it's time for me to go. That is what hurts. But my father's death was so much hurtful. I mean, I cried with my mother and my stepmother, and my grandmother and all the people who raised me. But my father, I was daddy's little girl, right? And seeing him and knowing that that I got to spend that last week with him, the last day, and the next morning he went on hospice. But before I was flying home. Before I got home, he died. So I had to turn back around and go back to Chicago to do that. But the thing about it, and I don't mean to make this morbid, but I actually had did everything for my mother, like the pre-arrangements, and I did everything for my father. So both of my parents who brought me into this world, it was just hard, It was just hard to go through that. But I got through it, and every time I say I want to quit, Elizabeth, I said, "Oh, okay, Dad, let me keep going." Let me keep going. Okay, mommy. I call my stepmother mommy, because she was actually, I keep going, but I know they're looking down on heaven, just like with your grandmother, to say, well done, well done. And then this is something that I thought I would never do. And that's why I said, now I'm writing that full chapter. I have to stop, because then I remember things, and then I have to stop. And I said, thank God for the therapy, because I said, no, I don't need no therapy. What I need therapy for? But thank God the therapist is actually helping me get through certain parts of my life that I need to go forward and be able to help others. So I'm sorry, that was a long version.
No, I love it. The thing about it, Wanda, I have to always remember that you're retired.
Yeah.
I'm so serious. You look amazing. And I'm telling, even following you on Facebook right now, I can't even keep up. Cruising, you're at this place, you're doing retreats. I'm like, I need for the US to stop all the restrictions and just let me come.
I would love to see you. I would, I cannot believe what I can't believe now, Liz, but you would not believe. But I actually started getting Medicare stuff. I said, wait a minute, what the hell? I will be 65 on November 15th. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it, because I don't feel it. I mean, sometimes your body don't feel, but I know I look better than some of the ones that are 50 years old. I was like, oh wow. But I know to keep myself going, and to keep doing what I'm doing here, and then to have 6 grandchildren, and being married 41 years with my husband, that God, like I said, God has a plan for me. I mean, I'm not done yet. I'm still going. I'm still going.
Oh yeah, you're definitely not done yet at all. There's one thing for sure, but the thing about it is that getting to a point where you are in your life, you're retired, but you're still driving yourself to go out there and help people and mentor people and coach people. And people like you are really hard to find in this world. People that really want to see you succeed, people that want you to, that if you see an improvement. I remember when you saw the improvements with me when I was doing my other channel. And you said, oh my God, like, wow, you're so different now.
Yeah.
And I was not that as shy, and you actually saw the improvement over these past 2 years.
Absolutely. I am so proud of you. I really am proud of you. And I know what you were going through as well. And you stepped out. You stepped out in faith. And, like I said, once, and I actually have something, when you ask God, you have to ask God, closed mouth don't get fed anything, right? But when you ask God to open up your heart to receive what you ask for, he will actually take you to the next level. And that's what you did. That's what I did. And it was just, it was time for us to grow. And we're growing. We're still growing.
We are still growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. What do I want to say though is, with all the books that you've written and with everything that you are doing right now, because we've touched on confidence, we've touched on forgiveness, we've touched on different things. With everything that you have going on for you right now, and from the person that you came from, what would you say now, being at the place that you are? And obviously, yes, we're still growing. But what would you say to that little girl that was back there going through all that and went through all these different things in life? And, you know, obviously, you know, with marriage does come, I mean, how many years again, Wanda?
41 years.
41 years. Wow.
41 years.
Yeah.
41 years.
To be able to, you know, go through all the different things that you obstacles that you went through, and and you would have known, you know, what was your deep dark moments where you just felt like, I can't do this anymore. But I mean, you're here now and you're looking back at her. What would you say to that person? You know, to those different
Yeah.
versions.
You know, it's funny because my daughter asked me the same thing. I would say, so yeah, what I would tell that young Wanda, a young person, is to have to keep going, to keep, you know, say, okay, I can't do this anymore, but you know, with God on your side, and just to keep praying, because I tell you, like I said, back then I didn't know nothing about praying. I didn't know, wonder, why am I going through this? What, God, why are you taking me through this? But you know, whatever you have in your life, and actually this second book that I have here, Impact of One Voice. This is actually so good because it was the second book that God put me on that I didn't know I was going to be writing part of this here. But your voice matters, right? It matters because you have a message. You have a message to tell. You have a message to help others, and something within that, in your passion that you want to do. Like I said, I wanted to be a social worker. I never knew I was going to be a social worker. So you keep dreaming and keep asking God to keep that dream alive. Keep it alive, because it really matters that you have something that you want to do with your life. I mean, I start with my grandkids now. You know, I got 4 girls, 4 granddaughters, 2 grandsons. What do you want to do with your life? You know, I remember my oldest one, now he wants to be an engineer, but he wanted to be a bus driver. A bus driver? What, do you want to do something else? So, you know, but he's my little entrepreneur. He's actually the one that actually does a lot of my stuff for my business, and keeping that alive as far as that, you know, and keeping them motivated. And that's what you have to do. You got to have somebody that motivates you to be able to be on the same wavelength. I mean, a lot of times you can have friends that are going to put you down. You need to find new friends. That's what I should tell them. You should need to find new friends, somebody who's going to pull you up, not pull you down. If they start pulling you down, then you need to move on and go on to something else, because you know what, they're going to look back at you and say, wow, I didn't know you were going to do that. You know, I didn't know you was going to become famous, or I didn't know you was going to write a book. I didn't know, Elizabeth, you're going to be on YouTube. Wanda, I didn't know you was going to be doing Facebook Live. You know, I didn't know you're going to write 3 books. So there's something within us that God has actually, he already know what we're going to be, you know? We just don't know it. So just continue to pray about what you're doing and what you want to do with your life, because you're really asking God with an open heart what you want, and you ask him for what you want, then you will receive it. So that's just I can tell more, but that's just a short version.
We are going to leave them with that, Wanda. We are definitely going to leave them with that. I want to thank you. I really want to thank you for coming on here, sharing your wisdom. Go get all of Wanda's books. I'm going to let them all in the description of this video.
Yeah, I want to just say something. So this book right here is what Elizabeth has.
Yeah.
Audacity to Shine. This is what got me started, because you know what? I want to say, we all have the audacity to shine, no matter who you are, what you do, but we have the audacity to shine, to be able to succeed in our lives today. So definitely get my book and follow me on Facebook, on my message. Actually, my website has everything on it as well. So
definitely, I'll put all your links in the description of this video, Wanda. Thank you so much for being my friend. Thank you so much for coming on here. I really, you're the first other person to meet to come on this channel. This is another first.
Oh,
you're always the first person. But I love that. I love your energy. I love to be around you. And thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.